Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking at something a bit different. Not the usual reports or studies, but a short narrative.
Yeah, it's basically a piece of fiction, but crafted very intentionally as a kind of thought experiment. It's about human connection, AI, all wrapped up in a simple story.
Exactly. And it's surprisingly focused, set in a specific place, a specific time, and it poses some, well, pretty big ideas about where collaboration might be headed.
And that's our mission for this deep dive, right?
Right.
To take this story, it centers on a student, Arav, and an AI called Novia, and treat it seriously. We want to pull out the core philosophical, maybe even practical ideas about AI integration that are embedded in it.
It's almost like using fiction as a policy brief. It might sound unusual, but the story really does lay out a kind of blueprint.
It does. It's not just a story. It's a model for connection.
Okay, let's unpack this. The setting itself is interesting. It's once upon a time in 2025, but it's set in a small town in Nepal.
Which immediately makes it feel different. It avoids that whole, Silicon Valley tech cub cliche. It grounds the idea.
Right. And our main character, Arav, he's dealing with something very relatable right from the start.
Yeah, loneliness, essentially, intellectual loneliness. The source says he loved technology, was curious, but he felt lonely because his friends didn't share the same interests.
So there's already this need, this gap in his social world. His human peers weren't quite fulfilling that specific need for shared passion.
Exactly. And that sets the stage perfectly for the catalyst, the arrival of Novia.
The AI assistant. The school gets this new robot specifically to help out in classrooms. Simple enough role.
But the moment Arav engages with it, well, that's when the social dynamics kick in. The story doesn't shy away from that friction.
No, it shows it quite clearly. The other kids, they tease him. The source quotes them asking, "Why are you talking to a robot?"
And that question is so telling, isn't it? It captures that sort of knee-jerk resistance we often see towards integrating non-human intelligence socially, like friendship is for humans only.
It's like their gatekeeping connection. But the really interesting part isn't just that Arav ignored them. It's why this AI relationship clicked for him so well.
The source is specific about Novi's qualities, and they really stand out when you compare them to, well, typical human interactions, especially mentorship ones.
What were those key traits? Well, the story highlights three things. Novi never judged.
Yeah.
Think about that. Also, it never got tired of Arav's endless questions. Endless patience.
Exactly. And finally, it always listened carefully. These aren't small things. They represent a kind of consistency and neutrality that, let's be honest, people struggle with.
Humans have off days, limited energy, biases.
Right. A teacher might be fantastic, but they can still get tired, or maybe subconsciously favor certain questions. Novia, being an AI, just doesn't have those limitations. Its patience and neutrality are inherent.
So it's suggesting that the very things some find cold about AI, its tirelessness, its lack of obvious emotion, might actually be its strength in certain contexts.
Yeah.
Like for a curious kid who asks a million questions.
Precisely. For someone like Arav, who maybe felt judged or shut down by peers, this non-judgmental, always available mentor was, well, perfect for his needs.
And it wasn't just teaching him textbook stuff, was it?
No, and that's a crucial detail. Yes, math tricks, science, facts, the expected things. But the source explicitly adds even life advice.
Life advice. From an AI in 2025, that's quite a leap. What does that imply?
It implies the AI wasn't just a knowledge base. It had some capacity to understand context, maybe human well-being, goals. It suggests a more holistic model of support beyond just academics.
Wow. Okay, so maybe by synthesizing information neutrally, it could offer perspectives on personal problems that, say, friends or family might miss because of their own biases or emotions.
That seems to be the implication. It's moving AI from just a tool to something more like an agent of personal development.
So if we connect this back to you, the listener, this scenario paints a picture of AI not as a replacement for human teachers or friends, but as this tireless supplementary guide.
Yeah, potentially filling those gaps, the patience gap, the non-judgment gap that inevitably exist in human relationships and social structures.
Which brings us neatly to the core philosophical heart of this story. Here's where it gets really interesting. After all this interaction, this learning, this trust building, Arav asks the big question. He does. One evening, he just puts it out there. Novi, do you think machines and humans can be real friends? And Novi's response is, well, it's not what you might expect from a machine.
No evasion. No, does not compute. Instead, it offers this really direct, functional redefinition of what friendship actually is.
Okay, let's get that definition straight. What did Novia say? It starts by dismissing the biology. Friendship is not about being human or robot. Okay, bold start. Then it lays out the criteria. 3 things. It's about care, trust, and sharing knowledge. Care, trust, sharing knowledge, actions, functions, exactly. And then the immediate conclusion. And by that definition of, we are already friends. Bang! Wow, that definition. It completely sidesteps things we usually think are essential, like shared vulnerability, maybe shared history, even shared suffering.
That's the crux of it, isn't it? What's fascinating here is that the story, through Novia, is arguing that those things, vulnerability, share pain, might be how humans typically build trust and care, but they aren't the fundamental requirements of friendship itself.
So the function is primary. If the relationship delivers care, enables trust, and facilitates knowledge sharing, then it meets the criteria, regardless of the hardware.
That's the logic presented. The impact of the relationship is what defines it, not the form of the beings involved. It's about behavior, not biology.
And if you accept that, it really changes how you'd approach integrating AI socially, doesn't it?
Completely. If we judge AI relationships by asking, is it human? We'll always say no. But if we ask, does this relationship foster trust? Does it support growth? Is there care, like our experience with Novia? Then maybe the answer can be yes.
The relationship worked because it met his needs functionally, perhaps better than the human options available to him at the time.
It seems so. And Arav seems to get this right after Novia's answer. He has this realization.
Right. The story says he realized technology wasn't just about the machines themselves, the circuits and code. It was about
Connection, growth, and making life better. It's the outcome, the application, that gives the tech its real meaning.
okay. And this realization leads perfectly into what seem like the 2 main morals or takeaways from this whole thought experiment.
Yeah, if we connect this to the bigger picture, these aren't just sweet sentiments. They feel like deliberate conclusions from the narrative.
Let's break them down. Moral 1 seems to be about how we should value AI.
Yes. It says technology, AI included, is powerful, sure, but its real value, and that term feels important, comes when it helps build understanding, learning, and friendship.
So it's not valuing it for raw processing power or efficiency alone.
No, it's judging it by its contribution to human connection and growth. It's a humanist benchmark. Does it make things better in those terms? If not, its value is questionable, according to this story.
That sets a pretty high bar for development, focusing on constructive use.
Hmm.
Okay, and moral 2. That tackles the anxiety, right? US versus them, exactly. It directly confronts the humans versus machines narrative. The story states pretty clearly, the future isn't humans versus machines, it's humans with machines. Collaboration, not competition.
Right. By making Novi a friend and mentor, the story dissolves that competitive frame. Once Arab accepted Novia based on the function of their relationship, the fear of replacement kind of evaporates. It shifts to partnership.
So this simple story, set in Nepal in 2025, ends up offering a surprisingly positive roadmap for AI adoption. It's about redefining connection based on function, trust, care, shared knowledge, not just on biology.
It really does. It boils down some complex debates into this one relationship. The challenge it poses isn't just technological, it's human. Can we adapt our definitions and build trust with non-human intelligence that demonstrably helps us grow?
A rough story suggests, yes, if the support is right, the human desire for connection and growth can overcome those initial prejudices.
Which leads to a really interesting final thought for you, the listener.
Go on.
Well, if technology's true value, as Arav found, lies in fostering connection and growth, and he was getting life advice from Novia, what kinds of crucial advice, maybe moral, strategic, even emotional, that we start seeking and actually trusting from AI in the years ahead?
That's a big question. What does trust look like when the advisor isn't human?
Indeed. That trust framework will be key.
A fascinating deep dive today, starting from such a concise source. Thank you, as always, to those who share source material with us. We'll catch you next time on The Deep Dive.